When I started playing Mio, Memories in Orbit, I honestly thought I was going to drop it. Not because it's a bad game, but because for the first hour, it felt like one of those games that looks incredible and then quietly dares you to stay interested. I was walking through this beautiful, broken spaceship, already a little confused, already a little annoyed, and thinking, okay, is this it, or is the art doing all the work? Then I kept playing. You play as Mio, an android who wakes up with no memories inside a massive abandoned space vessel called the Vessel. Everything is falling apart, machines have gone wrong, and the game doesn't sit you down and explain any of it. There's no long tutorial, no voice telling you what to feel. It just drops you in and expects you to pay attention. That choice sets the tone for the entire experience, for better and for worse. The art is the first thing that really pulls you in. While I was playing, I kept stopping without realizing it, just to look at the environments. The game has this hand-painted look, like every room was carefully designed instead of randomly generated. The lighting is soft, the colors are controlled, and even empty spaces feel intentional. The ship feels old, quiet, and forgotten, and that mood stays consistent the whole time. The music deserves its own moment. It's calm, slow, and emotional, but it knows when to stay in the background. There were moments where I finished a fight or reached a new area and just stood there listening. It adds a lot to the feeling that you're alone in this place, slowly uncovering something that went very wrong. As I played more, the game started opening up mechanically. Mio is a Metroidvania, and it understands that structure well. You unlock new movement abilities over time, and suddenly areas that felt impossible before start making sense. Going back to earlier sections with new tools felt rewarding, and that loop worked on me. Movement is generally smooth, and once you get comfortable, getting around the ship feels good. That said, the inspiration from games like Ori is very obvious. Sometimes it feels like Mio is standing confidently on its own, and other times it feels a little too close to what it's borrowing from. It didn't ruin my experience, but it's something you definitely notice while playing. Combat is where my experience became mixed. Some encounters felt good, especially when you take your time and learn enemy patterns. Other times, combat felt awkward, particularly in the air. Attacks don't always connect the way you expect, and there were moments where I took damage and couldn't really tell what I did wrong. Boss fights were interesting, but a few of them jumped in difficulty very suddenly, and dying meant doing a walkback that broke the flow more than it should have. The map became one of my biggest frustrations the longer I played. I enjoy exploration, and I don't mind being lost, but here I often felt lost for the wrong reasons. The map doesn't give you enough clear information, so instead of making smart decisions about where to go next, I found myself wandering and hoping I was moving in the right direction. That killed the momentum more than anything else in the game. There are also small issues that kept popping up during my playtime. Ice sections make Mio slide around in a way that feels more annoying than challenging. Controls can act strange if you have both a controller and keyboard connected. Some platforming sections aren't very clear visually, so missing a jump feels confusing instead of fair. None of these things made me quit, but they kept pulling me out of the experience just when I was getting comfortable again. The story is told quietly, mostly through the environment. As I played, I slowly learned what happened to the vessel, why its systems failed, and what Mio's connection to all of it might be. The game doesn't rush this, and it doesn't spell everything out. I liked that it trusted me to piece things together, but I can also see some players getting impatient with how slow the answers come. By the end of my time with Mio, Memories in Orbit, my opinion had changed compared to that first hour. I didn't think it was a masterpiece, but I also didn't think it was just style over substance. It's a game with a strong vision, incredible presentation, and real ambition, but it doesn't always support that vision with consistent gameplay. My experience with Mio was a mix of being impressed and being frustrated. The art and atmosphere kept pulling me forward, even when the mechanics tested my patience. It's not a game I loved without issues, but it is a game that stuck with me after I stopped playing. And honestly, that might be Mio's biggest strength. It's not clean, it's not perfect, but it's memorable. If you care about mood, exploration, and visual storytelling, it's worth your time. Just be ready for a few rough edges along the way.